everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Noor Networks. In this tutorial, we are going to configure identity awareness. As we discussed on the ending of our previous tutorial, that the coming tutorial, that is the tutorial on identity awareness, will be a continuation of the Active Directory integration tutorial, right? So let me reiterate what we have done till now. In our previous tutorial, we have integrated our Active Directory with Checkpoint Firewall. Moving forward, what we are going to do in this tutorial is we will be enabling very first the identity awareness braid from the checkpoint gateway. Once we enable the ID awareness blade, then thereafter we will be configuring the access role, and finally we will be creating a rule with the access role. Once these things are done, then we will be using our Active Directory users for authentication purpose. So when I talk about authentication, we will be doing a browser based authentication as well as client based authentication using a Active Directory user, the Active Directory which we have integrated in our previous tutorial. The same username we will be using over here for the authentication purpose. Additionally, we will be seeing that if in case you want to give a login to the guest user, what are the available options. So let's begin with our tutorial, and before that I would like to show you that this is our Active Directory server, and over here I have created a group called CPID group, and in this group I have three members: IT admin, IT consultant, IT programmer. So the detailed tutorial on Active Directory configuration and installation is available, and I will be putting a link in the description box. So let's begin. The very first thing what you are going to do is you will simply double click over here in Checkpoint Gateway under Gateways and Servers over here. Once this open, the very first thing you are going to do is you will just check this box Identity Awareness. It will open a new window for identity awareness configuration. As you can see, the AD query is checked by default. Additionally, you will check this box as well, browser based authentication, since we will be covering the browser based authentication as well in this tutorial. Click on next button. Over here it is asking select an Active Directory. So the option keeping this as default, create new Active Directory, just give the domain name. For me, the domain name is nonetworks.com. You can have your own domain name, whatever you have created. The username, I will be using an administrator account, and then I will be putting the password. Once the credentials you have entered, finally it is asking you for domain controller. So over here you will be putting the IP address, which is 10.1.1.50 in our lab as per our network design. Once you have entered all these details, click on connect button. I believe that I have done some mistake while putting the username and password. Let me put it again. And let's try to connect again. So it was the mistake in typing the password. Now it is saying successfully connected. Click on next button. Once you get the successfully connected, click on next button. Over here it is saying you that to activate browser based authentication you need to define the access role. As I told you earlier that what we are going to do is we will be first of all enabling the ID awareness, what we are doing now. Thereafter we will be coming to this step. So it is saying that the main URL for the connecting, or you can say for the redirection, will be https colon 10.1.1.200 slash connect. Guys, over here the portal is accessible only through internal interface. It is saying that the portal will be accessible through internal interface only. If you want to change, you can click over here edit button and you can define the requirement whatever you want. But in our case we will say yes, we want the accessible we want the portal to be accessible through internal interface only. Keeping this setting as it is, we will move forward. Click on next button. It is saying that identity awareness is now active. What next? You have to add access role to the security policy, install policy, browse to capture portal, view logs. Just click on finish button. So guys, now we have enabled the identity awareness. Before we move to the next step, that is configuring the access role, we will be just looking after the setting for identity awareness. So just click over here. Once you have done, just click over here on the identity awareness box. And how to come here, that also I will show you. If you want to see once again, you have to simply click on this checkpoint gateway, double click over here, and you will be landing on this page. Over here on the left side, you will find identity awareness. Let's check the setting. The first is browser based authentication setting. Click over here on setting. It is saying that portal runs on this gateway. Keep this setting as it is. Access setting, it is saying that the access to the portal will be through this particular URL. We want this URL itself, and then it is asking for a certificate, that this portal uses an auto generated certificate. You can also import your own certificate. So guys, as of now we don't have any certificate, so we are not going to install any certificate for now. And then finally it is asking you the accessibility option. This is the same option which we have seen some time before. Click on edit, and it is saying the same thing, that whether the portal should be accessible through internal interface, or like you want through all the interfaces. We will say yes, we want through internal interface, and we'll finish it keeping the settings default. Click OK. Authentication setting, click over here on edit button, and it is saying that whether you want to automatically authenticate user from the machine in the domain, and this is the URL for that. And then authentication method, we will be keeping username and password. User directories, we will keep all as it is. We want a user directories for internal user from external directories, all gateway directories. Keeping this setting as default, simply close this. Then comes the portal customization. So guys, over here, if like you have your own company logo, then you can just check this box, browse, and locate the pic whatever you want to see on the captive portal as a company logo. And if you want to change the company logo for mobiles, the checkpoint gateway give you that option as well. So similarly, you have to browse and locate that pic over here. For now, we will be keeping this setting as well default, and we will move on further. User access, name and password login. Click on setting button over here, and it is saying that access will be granted for 720 minutes, which is approximately 12, which is actually 12 hours. So, and then it is saying whether you want to ask the user for user agreement, and or you want to adjust the portal. We won't touch this settings over here, we will close this. And the second part is a bit interesting. So it is asking that name and password login, basically if the user has their credentials, they have their username and password to log in. So this is a setting. So over here we don't need to ask for user agreement and all. And it is saying that since it is a trustworthy user, you can keep up to 12 hours, not an issue. 8 hours, 12 hours, whatever you want, you can keep it. And then it is saying for unregistered guest login. So guys, just check this box, and we will configure the settings for the unregistered users also. Like if the guest come and he want the internet access, then in that case you should check this box, and just you will configure the settings as per your requirement. So as you can see over here, it is saying that access will be granted for 180 minutes. Like let's say we want to give only for 1 hour, we will say 60 minutes. I will say ask for user agreement also, since it is the outside user. Click on edit and view the end user agreement setting. You can keep default, or else if you want to customize, you can customize as per your requirement. This is editable. Okay, we will keep default agreement with this company. Click OK. Additionally, it is saying that what all fields need to be filled, like a name, company name, email address, phone number. And if you want some additional field, you can just type over here that field name and add it. Even this field which are already there, you can edit it. Is mandatory. Is name, it will give you all these details: name, company name, email address, phone number. But you can enforce that what is mandatory, what is optional. Click OK. And even you can just move this, like you can move the name to down from this key and so on. You can play with this. Click OK over here. The option log out user when they close the portal browser. Like if the user is login, he must mandatory keep the browser open, he should not log out. For that you should check this option. Or else if you want that if even the user closes or log out from the browser, then if closes the browser, then also he should be able to connect to the internet. Then in that case you will log out. Anyhow you have configured the setting that the guest user will be accessing the internet 1 hour and thereafter it will automatically disconnect, and for the trustworthy user it is 12 hours. This coming to this identity agent deployment, this we will be looking into the next tutorial. For now we will leave this. Click on OK button over here and click OK. So guys, over here we have enabled the identity awareness blade and configure the setting as per our requirement. Before we proceed to configure the access role, we will install the policy. Click on install policy over here, publish and install. Select the policy package. This is lab policy. Click install button. Wait for the policy to be successfully installed. Now our policy is successfully installed. We will move on to create to configure an access role. So guys, to configure an access role, just come over here on the right pane and click on new button over here. Click on more, and then you have to go to user identity and you have to select access role. So the access role name we will give, let's say, ID awareness, identity awareness. It is saying from which network. We will say for now any network users. It can be any user or identify users, but we will go with the active directory user. So we will say specific user or group. Click on this plus icon over here, and you can see from here drag down menu there are multiple options. We will select our ADs, that is nonetworks.com, our domain. And I have shown that I have created a group with the name CPID, right? Let me show you again. Going to Active Directory over here. Let me quickly log in. This is the group. This is a group which we are going to just add it over there. And the members of this group are ID admin, IT consultant, IT programmer. Okay. So we'll use one of the user for the testing purpose. So let's select this group. Even you can add, apart from this, even you can add some other users also. If you wish, you can add some more user also if you wish. For now, this is okay for us, and we will simply say okay. So guys, now we have configured the access role. Before we proceed to the creating a rule with access role, we will simply install the policy and then we will move ahead. Lab policy and install. So guys, our installation is completed successfully, and now we will move on to creating a rule using the access role. Before we create a rule, we will just disable this internal rule which we have created. Let's disable this, and we will disable this as well for now. Now what we are going to do is we will create an access rule above this. New rule above, and we will give the name as ID awareness rule. The source which we are going to select is our role, access role, which is ID awareness. Destination will be any, switch to any. VPN as it is. Services are the one which we will be using to open the internet, that is HTTP, HTTPS and DNS. Action will be accept, but what you have to do is click on more button over here in accept and enable the identity capture portal. Click OK. As usual, you will log the events and you are going to install this on checkpoint gateway. We'll drop it over here. So guys, we have created an ID awareness rule, keeping source as ID awareness, the access role which we have created, the destination we have kept any, we have open HTTP, HTTPS and DNS ports, action is any, and then we have checked on to enable the captive portal, and the rest things are same. Track the logs and install it on checkpoint gateway. Straight away we will go and we will install the policy. Click on publish and install. Lab policy and install. So guys, our policy is successfully installed now. Now is the time to test our configuration. So we will justify each and everything. Let's open the browser and we'll try to browse google.com. As you can see now, the website is not reachable. So the solution is you have to first log into the captive portal. That's 10.1.1.200 slash connect. We will log in using our AD user. As you have seen, one of the AD user was IT underscore admin. We will be using the same user. We will say login. Once you are login, it is saying network access granted. Welcome to the network. You must leave this window open as long as you require network access. And the remaining time has started. The reverse counter has started. Now just try to browse it. Try to go to google.com. It is working for you. We'll try for yahoo.com. It is working, which means that your internet is working now, right? What we will do now, we will simply log out to verify that once you log out, your internet access goes. The setting which we have done is working for you. Now let's try to browse Google site, and you can see it is not accessible because you have logged out and you have kept this setting that whenever you logged out, the internet access should be revoked. If you would have not checked that box, it would have worked for you now for next 12 hours. Okay, so this is justified. You will click on regain access to the network. Anyhow, it will ask for username and password. Now this is justified that you are able to browse using your credentials, that is using your username. Let's verify the logs as well. We will go to checkpoint, we'll go to logs and monitors over here. Go to logs. We have logged in using the user IT underscore admin. So we'll check if IT underscore admin user logs we are getting or not. As you can see now over here, just we have to scroll down. Okay, let's do one thing. Go to security policy, and we will, from the policy itself, we will view the logs. Click on the policy, and then you can see that over here on the downside, you can see the logs that the source is management station. This is our management station, and the user which you have used was it underscore admin. Let's open one of the log. As you can see over here, it is giving the details that the source was the management station with the IP 10.1.1.100, and the identity is being shown as IT underscore admin, and thereafter the traffic, the where on which destination it went, and all the things, netting and all options is being shown over here. So guys, this justifies that we have login using a user active directory user, and the logs also are being shown over here. So when we will doing a tutorial on logs and all, at that time we will analyze the logs in very detail, but just for justifying purpose I have shown this. Now the second part is, if the guest user comes, and definitely a guest user won't be having a user created or a active directory user, right? So in that case, what you will do, so you will simply say that I don't have a username and password. Click over here, the same portal, the portal will be same, okay? This the same portal will be there, and you will say, instead of login and all, you will say I don't have a username and password. Click on this. You know that we have seen this, that what all details should be shown to the user, unregistered user, so that details are being shown. It is asking for name. Let's say I will say IT consultant. Company name I will say no networks. Email I will say test@test.com. Phone number we have kept optional, so it is not asking for phone number, and you will click on login button over here. Now we have enabled the agreement, right? So it is saying network access agreement. The network access is subject to certain terms and conditions. You can view the terms and condition from here. Finally, you have to check the box I have read and agreed to the terms and condition, and click on next button. Now we have set for 1 hour, that is 60 minutes. You can see the reverse counter has started for 60 minutes, and it is saying that you must leave this window open as long as you require network access. And we will try to browse now. So guys, this is not working. We will troubleshoot why this is not working. So guys, what I have done is I have just closed my browser and open it again. So let's try now. Yahoo.com, and finally it is working. So that's all guys. This is how the identity awareness works in the checkpoint. Using this, you can define a user based authentication for the internet. You can use your active directory user. Additionally, apart from the active directory users, even you can create a local user account from the checkpoint itself. So it's quite easy. Simply you have to go, I won't be showing this because it's very simple, and straight away you can give the access. So going to more over here, going to more over here, and then going to user and identity, and you can simply create a user. And this is anyway, I will cover this in the next tutorial. The small things which are there, I will be covering. So guys, that's all about the identity awareness. Let me repeat what we have done till now. The very first thing what we did is we have enabled the identity awareness from the checkpoint gateway. Once we have enabled the identity awareness blade, thereafter we have configured a access role, and we have fetched the group from the active directory. Once we have successfully configured the access role, then finally we have created a role with those access role. And thereafter we have seen that using and definitely there were several settings which we have done in the identity awareness, and thereafter we have seen that using a browser authentication, when we open the browser, the internet didn't work, then we have opened the captive portal where we have put the active directory username and password, and we were able to access the internet. And finally we have seen that if the guest user comes and if he want to access, then in that case how come that will be possible. So that's all guys for this tutorial. In the next tutorial we will be seeing after the https inspection. And thanks for watching my video. If you like my video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and please do share with your friends. Thanks once again and see you in the next tutorial.